Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to finish off the short but incredibly important and influential discography of D'Angelo with his final LP, that being, of course, his 2014 record, Black Messiah. Now, unfortunately, this is the last LP we're going to see from D'Angelo, at least from his lifetime, considering he did unfortunately pass away October 14th, just a little over a month ago, actually 1 month ago at the time of filming this. As somebody who's a huge fan of his album Voodoo, which I did a reaction to last year, I thought it was only right to circle back around and finish off his short discography by covering both Brown Sugar, which we already did last week. Check that out if you are so interested. And of course today with Black Messiah. I really loved Brown Sugar's more kind of retro throwback sound. It felt very vintage in its appeal. Really enjoyed that record. And of course, Voodoo to me is pretty much a masterpiece in every sense of the word, blending elements of hip-hop and soul with such ease, having such a nice kind of dark, moody griminess to it, while still feeling very sensual and beautiful in typical D'Angelo style. But today with Black Messiah, from what I gather, this is a bit more of even more of a throwback sound in a sense, having a funkier, more kind of Sly and the Family Stone-esque sort of appeal to it, which again is something that I'm very much excited to check out, considering I love a good Sly Stone record. And on top of that, you know, who doesn't like a good bit of funk? Another thing that's interesting to me is that, from what I gather, D'Angelo wanted to pursue a full-on analog sort of production with this record, which again adds to that vintage sound. So without further ado, this record has 12 tracks. It's 56 minutes long. It's got the band The Vanguard here to back him, of course, but D'Angelo still does quite a bit of the heavy lifting, because as I discovered on my listen of Brown Sugar last week, D'Angelo does a large portion of the work throughout his LPs. On this one here, he has the vocals, the guitar, the piano, the organ, the keyboards, the synthesizers, the bass, the electric sitar, the drum programming, and the percussion throughout this record, but certainly still has help from some friends here. At least he was able to be gracious enough to allow the Vanguard to come in and provide, from what I gather, the kind of trumpets and horn work and a slew of other guitars. So, you know, I'm expecting a lot here. I'm very much excited. This one won a Grammy even. So, you know, as it deserves, because D'Angelo is an incredible, you know, musician, was an incredible musician. Got to get used to saying that. Without further ado, though, let's get into it with Ain't That Easy. I believe Questlove was also on production on this one. And from what I gather, once again, there is a posthumous release in the works. Apparently, from I think what Questlove said is that there was something being worked on before D'Angelo passed. So hopefully one day we will get that record and it will actually be, you know, honorable to him. I don't imagine Questlove would want to attach his name to something that isn't, you know, respectful of such a legend. So without further ado, though, let's get into today's record, Black Messiah, Ain't That Easy. Let's go. Already has that strong funk appeal. Man, I love that pop sound, that splash. Those claps are just so vibrant. Kind of acts as a snare or something. Definitely feels Sly Stone-esque too, those vocals especially. Love how distinct each record is within the D'Angelo catalog. Man, these bass lines on this one, and the traditional funk sense is very just thick and vibrant once again against the mix. Love how, like, just syrupy and thick this one is. A very girthy sound. Thematically, once again, as expected from D'Angelo, very sensual, kind of pleading emotionally. Solid track. Love that starter. Really introduces the sound, especially of this record, which is just super thick and funky. Here's 1,000 Deaths. Oh. Definitely feels like he's maybe going to go into a bit more of a political direction on this record, which I would certainly welcome. D'Angelo, I believe, on the drums on this mix. Although it could be James Gadsden. Once again, he is kind of all over this record. Oh, this is getting like full on kind of Sly. Like there's a riot going on era of Sly for especially. I like the kind of synth up and down, very murky. This one's very, very murky, very muddy. I feel like we're just like deep in a funky swamp of some sorts. Love how much this one kind of ramps up and grows in the instrumental. It's like a slow creep into how climactic that got there. Man. This one sounds so like vintage, the way everything's coming together. It's like an appropriate round of muddiness. Oh my god. Getting quite rambunctious. Very much, again, feels like a Sly Stone political track that just ramps up and jams out. Three people credited on these drums. Man. Really liked that one. It was a little bit more low-key in a way, but I really liked the way it snuck up with the instrumental especially. You know, it started off very murky and stripped back almost, and then kind of reached this kind of cacophony of sound, very swirling towards the end, very jam-like. Again, very reminiscent of a Sly Stone record. Here's the Charade, continuing here. Bit of a shorter track here, 3 minutes. D'Angelo's vocals have like a fuzziness, a very vintage sort of fuzzy effect on them. He's really honing on that higher regimen too. Oh. It's like a that clap that comes in. Right there. Sounds like it's a clap that's being almost reversed in sound as well. The way it kind of sneaks in. I wonder if they did a clap sound and just flipped the sample around. Has a very distinct reverse effect on it. Just like that. Man, I love that clap that sneaks in. And this piano. Man, this one once again. I love the creeping kind of effect that we're getting on these tracks. The way everything just slowly comes into the mix. It just feels very jam-like, almost like everything almost feels improvisational. Oh. Love these backing vocals that we're getting too. I think that's, I want to say Kendra. I think she's the only female vocalist here, but I really like the womanly appeal on the mix there. Again, seems like a call to action, maybe demanding a sense of respect for the black community. Here is Sugar Daddy. The Charade was a bit more, I want to say, low key in a way. I feel like it just comes and goes so rapidly. Oh, this one's got a bit more of a hip hop flair on it. Love the piano in this mix. Very playful. Oh, he's getting sensual once again. I love the playful vocals on this one, the way they're kind of arpeggiating up and down. Oh. Oh, I love those horns. I love that clear guitar. Kind of dancing above it all. Man, this one's punchy with these kind of funky effects that just splash in and out of the mix. Love that. The main percussion is kind of more withdrawn, more buried. But these horns just splash in. Hit you with a punch. He's like full on embracing the sugar daddy role. A man who knows what he wants. Really like this one. So upbeat. And a very simple message on it. Love the horn work throughout this one, especially. Just like that. So brassy and showboaty. D'Angelo really not shying away from vulgarity on this track, that's for sure. Who would have thought a song with such nasty, vulgar lyrics would win a Grammy? But with such a grooviness to it all, such a punchiness, he can kind of just say whatever he wants and get away with it. Love that one. That one was really funky, very direct, both lyrically direct and instrumentally, but I love just how punchy it was. I love the horns on it. Here's Really Love, which is opening with some heavy string work. Brent Fisher conducting this orchestra here. This one's got a real cinematic flair to it. Oh. Maybe we're going deep down south with this one. Oh. These drums, that funk just sliding in, but I love this guitar work, these finger plucking. Oh, it could be any one of these on the guitar, but they are heavy on the string work on this one. Oh, I like this one. A nice sensual love song. I love how we went from a last track that was just so direct and vulgar and very clear, very clearly infused by a sense of just raw, lustful sex, you know? Whereas this one here, we're getting full-on love track, full-on romance. It's very sweet and very wholesome in a way so far. You know, obviously there's a sense of sexual appeal dripping from this one, you know, in typical D'Angelo fashion. But, you know, on top of that, it's very sweet and wholesome. A bit of a contrast from this track to the last, that's for sure. Especially having the strings on the mix gives it that very love story-esque appeal. If the last track was a more selfish love, this one is certainly a much more selfless love, it would seem, you know, focused on the feelings of her as well as himself, clearly. This might be my favorite track so far, too. It's just so smooth with it. And the plucking of those guitars. Very, like, kind of Spanish infused. Apparently this contains the sample from Curtis Mayfield, but even though I am familiar with this track and that LP, it's not quite jumping out there for me. Maybe I need to revisit that Curtis record. Love that track though. Incredible track on the album there. Probably my favorite so far. I loved how sensual it was, loved how slow it was, loved the cinematic sort of strings that we got, loved the plucking of the very kind of southern, deep South American string approach we got on that one too, and really like just the kind of the theme and the vocals there from D'Angelo especially. I'd really love when he sings in such a slower, more calculated sort of way, really. Here's Back to the Future Part 1 is the name of this track. Again, that kind of reverse effect there. Love the production choices on this record.
about the same way you left it. Ooh. Said I just wanna go back, baby, back to the way it was. I just wanna go back, baby, back to the way it was.
Love the way he hits those high notes and brings it on deep down low. Great display of his range there. Oh, love how it just went deep in that pocket there. You gonna do it again? Oh, that's so smooth. Look how thick that sounded. What a heavy drop. Maybe this is a bit of a nostalgia-driven track, you know? Looking back on the brighter days. This is a great one. It's nostalgic. It's sweet. It's incredibly smooth. Love how light the orchestral arrangements are on this one. Oh, there's that reverse effect again. Gives us this kind of swirling, dizzying effect. Much in the same way that maybe a dose of nostalgia can be a little dizzying. Incredible. Love that one. And we got a part 2 of that coming up later. A shorter one, but a part 2. Here's Till It's Done. Tutu is the name of this one. A very low-key album so far, but I love how funky it all is. Like there's like a relaxed effort. Everyone feels like they're just at a sense of ease with their instruments, which only adds to this lively, jammy feel of the record. Maybe getting a little political here. Maybe reflecting on the confusion and the madness of the world. Oh, we are diving right into going right into global warming and environmentalism. Oh, I love how alive the production on this album feels. Like, definitely of the 3 records, this is probably the best produced. I mean, that might be a hot take considering Voodoo is right there, and that is an amazing record, obviously. But the production on this thing is just pristine. Like, every single instrument here, while, you know, a very diverse album instrumentally, is crisp and clear, has a great sense of warmth to it all. That's probably due to the more analog sound. Just really love the production on this one. I think it's perfect. I think the production's amazing. On top of that, to make an album, or to make a track, I should say, here, that is kind of musing on the chaos of the world and reflecting on all the things going wrong within it, like the global warming effects there, to make it so smooth and just groovy on top of it, very much a Sly Stone trademark in a way, and D'Angelo masters it. Love this vocal too that he's channeling. D'Angelo is like full on, high pitched, almost pain. Kind of reminds me of Stevie Wonder in a lot of ways. like the way it's dialing down here. Kind of faltering in a way. That's a great one. One of my favorites, especially, honestly. Let's go into prayer. Oh.
Slow press, slow press,
If you've been following my channel, you know I prefer a slower, more sluggish track at times. Especially because it lets you sink into it. And this track here feels like we're going to sink into it. I love that clap is back from that first track. This synth on top, very wavy and alien-like. I like this drum especially. The drum and the bass line giving a nice, steady, hypnotic backbone for everything to build upon. This synth too feels like it's so steady and funky. Maybe channeling the Lord on this one in a way. Believing in that heavenly spirit to guide us. Like the spiritual flair, especially with that, again, that synth. Wavy, kind of feels like a spiritualist brought to the table there. Oh, this clap. Closing it out with a full embrace of this funky, jammy nature. And that guitar, just soaring off. Kind of gives like almost like funkadelic vibes in a way. Really like that one as well. Again, I like a more hypnotic, sluggish track, and that certainly delivered on it. You know, D'Angelo's vocals were a bit more hushed and withdrawn. Really let the instrumental soar through. Here is Betray My Heart.
As the day must have its sun, and the night must have its moon.
I like the momentum of this one, the ticking like effect of this percussion. Kind of reminds me of Miles Davis in a silent way.
Like the blood in your vein, I will never betray my heart. I will never betray.
This one's very hypnotic, especially with that percussion there, just keeping a steady, almost metronome-like effect. And I like these horns that come in. Give it a nice, groovy, jazzy element. Which this one really is maybe the jazziest on the record so far. It does feel like, again, getting strong like Miles Davis vibes, you know? But maybe it's because I listen to so much in a silent way. I like these horns too. Feels like they're just kind of bouncing on the mix. Roy Hargrove. Oh, take it away, Roy. just like soaring above the mix. Wow. That was a real explosion of horns there, and just the instrumental bursting at the seams. And then strips it back to this percussion that's just very steady. I love the electric keys on this whole record so far. I haven't really addressed them, but maybe it's because they're a little bit more low key in the mix, but oh yeah, let's get real quiet as we close out. That was a smooth one. Beautiful, jazzy. Again, strong Miles Davis vibes. I wonder if that is an influence on the mix there. Here's The Door. Shortest one, I believe. Oh no, the next one's the shortest. Back-to-back shortest tracks, though. This one's kind of playful with this whistle. This one's got a nice short and sweet feel to it. Oh. But we're getting a bit of a guitar. Bit of a southern twist. I feel like we're down at a bayou with this bad boy. Oh, perhaps that's a sitar, maybe? Could be a sitar. Love the range on this record. I feel like we've gotten so many different styles of funk in a way. It feels like a real kind of like tribute to the funk sound of the early 70s, in the same way that maybe Brown Sugar was a tribute to the soul sounds of the 70s. This is like a tribute to funk in its entirety, because we've seen a nice display of range from the very political funk to a much more playful funk sound to something that is a bit more, I would say, kind of swampy and down south in its sound. We even went down to even further with a South American twist on that earlier track. I believe that was Really Love, which I really love, coincidentally. Trying to mimic it. Probably butchering it. Can't even tell. What a fun little ditty this one was. I really like that one a lot. Again, you get tracks like that are a little bit more kind of fun and tongue-in-cheek and a little bit more playful. And then you have tracks that are much more direct, and then you have tracks that are much more sensual. Here's Back to the Future, Part 2. Bringing it back to track 6. Back to that nostalgia. Ready? Right into that fat groove once again. Love that drop. I love how easily this one kind of just revisits that sound with such ease, you know? Almost feels like this is the end of the record, in a way. Interesting production choice to split these two tracks. Much in the same way that How Does It Feel kind of cuts off abruptly, though. I'm not surprised that D'Angelo would split such a groovy and fun track in this sort of format. I like that one. I like this revisit that we got. It does feel like it's ending the album in a way, but if I'm not mistaken, track 12 is part of the official LP, closing it out with Another Life. This is another one that sinks into that groove. Very deep in it. Oh! Got a little jazzy on the mix. Oh, especially that piano. Love how much more the piano is pushed to the forefront here. Gives it a really, nice final sort of goodbye-esque feel to it. Getting sweet, soulful, sensual to close it out. Oh, love that drum work there. The way it strips back and just guides you through. Very much a yearning track here, picturing the life with another girl, perhaps in another life, another universe it was meant to be. But clearly not in this one. A classic theme within a lot of soul tracks. Maybe call back to that Sugar Daddy track. Again, very caring sort of lover. Clearly there for her pleasure, not his own. Maybe a full-blown sort of begging, pleading simp track, as one might call it. No shame in that. God, this one is really just soaring away, exploding into a real finale-esque moment. This one reminds me a lot of How Does It Feel in terms of its structure and this growth. Wow, what a beautiful final track. Beautiful final track for, unfortunately, his discography and his life, because that one to me felt like a real grand finale in a way. It feels like it kind of represents a lot of what he's great at, that slow, kind of meticulous build-up. Reminds me a lot of course, the untitled track, How Does It Feel, track 12 from Voodoo, which is, in my opinion, a perfect track and the best track on Voodoo. It really hits that huge crescendo and cuts off. And this one feels like a sequel of sorts to that track, the way it's very careful and meticulous, very sensual, of course, focusing on the sexual appeal of D'Angelo, and really focused on pleasing another, like a lot of his great tracks are. Really just feels like a culmination of all those ideas, and closes out the discography and life of D'Angelo with perhaps his best aspects all put into one. Black Messiah, though, incredible. Much in the same way that Voodoo kind of covers a wide array of styles and themes, I would say this one kind of does the same idea, but with the funk sound. Much in the same way that Brown Sugar honors the soul genre, this one honors the funk kind of genre in spades. Feels like a Sly Stone record, but obviously with a D'Angelo flair. You know, obviously with that sensual, slow flair of his that is very calculated and hypnotic in a way. Really takes its time and really lets you kind of ease into that funk sound. But on top of that, really like the political themes that were intertwined throughout the mix of the record as well. Although very light and doesn't really delve too heavily into those themes, I really like the fact that he visited them because it is such a staple of funk and soul to get political. So D'Angelo didn't shy away from it, especially dealing with themes of environmentalism and just the madness and the chaos in the world. Wanted to maybe embrace a sense of unity and maybe hope for a brighter future. But also, you know, speaking of the future, he also speaks of the past with Back to the Future Part 1 and Part 2. Very nostalgic in a way as he speaks on just how things used to seem brighter, more vivid, more happy in the days of yesteryear, really. But really love how he split it too and revisits it with track 11. Makes it feel very distinct and a nice little... kind of feels like it almost bookends side 2 in a way, with, of course, Another Life being just an incredible closer to close the whole thing out, to close everything out in a way. Loved Black Messiah, though. Really funky, really fun, really murky, great analog, warm sound on it as well to really throw back to that Sly Stone era. Nothing negative to say, once again, which is unsurprising. I mean, D'Angelo, 3 for 3. 3 incredible albums, 3 influential albums, one of the best R&B soul musicians ever, period, point blank. And, you know, Black Messiah is just another moment to represent just why he was such a incredible and important musician. And it's unfortunate that we have lost him in the year 2025 already. Only 53, I believe he was, 52, 53. And that is a great loss because he did have, I would say, another couple records probably in him that could have really, you know, padded out his discography even further with another classic. But that does it for today's video. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along in listening to more albums alongside myself. If you want to see fully unedited videos from my channel, check out the Patreon down below. For $5 a month, you get every single album reaction I have done this year, every D'Angelo album. That includes Brown Sugar as well. If you want to see that fully unedited, it's already on the Patreon. So again, for just $5 a month, you get every video of mine unedited. But as always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.